Governor Rick Snyder, welcome back to the program.
Yeah, it's great to be with you, Michael Patrick, and it's a beautiful day up on the island, so hopefully people can enjoy the porch today.
A lot of people say, if I'm elected governor, that's going to be the greatest thing. I get to go up to the residents on Mackinac Island. I'm guessing that it's probably, you don't probably get there as often as you'd like to, but do you make use of it much?
Yeah, we try. Actually, Sue, my wife, uses it more than I do, but it's wonderful to get up here for several weekends during the season. It is one of the most beautiful places in the country, and it's nice when we have a chance to entertain people from out of state. And they just go wild. We've had great feedback. They become ambassadors for Michigan.
Like we were just saying, Mike Rowe, the Dirty Jobs guy, or Someone's Got to Do It, I think is his show now.
Yeah.
Which is what some people could have said about you when you took over the state. Hey, somebody's got to do it. You might as well step up and do it.
Yeah.
But he's become an ambassador too, huh?
He is, and that was exciting to have Mike here yesterday talking about the skilled trades. And we actually have Tom Dolan, who does a great show, Under the Radar, for younger kids. So we actually have packaged a program with both these fine individuals where Mike's doing it more for high school kids and their parents. Tom's doing it more for K-5. And they're starting to talk about manufacturing, the skilled trades, because we need more parents and kids to be looking at these career opportunities and understanding everyone doesn't need a university degree. And you shouldn't be viewing this as a lesser alternative. It's an equally honorable, really important career choice that can be made that will lead to a great, well-paying job.
The visual, right, of a business executive next to a hardworking man, I think, was quite interesting yesterday in his presentation.
Yeah, it really
Equals.
made the point. It's not just about working smart. You need to work smart and hard and find something you love. And if you do, you can be extremely successful. And the best part, Michael Patrick, is we've seen a big increase in the jobs open in Michigan. Just as our unemployment rate, it's now dropped more than half since the time I became governor. And we just tied the national average for the first time since September of 2000, 15 years. But we've got 20% more open jobs today than we had in 2011. So our path, our momentum is good. Now we need to be working these training issues to make sure people have the skills they need to take these positions.
One of our top three industries, tourism. We just talked about a moment ago. The return on investment at the Pure Michigan campaign, $1, we get $6. But the Speaker Cotter, who was here a little bit earlier, says, I didn't say we were going to do away with the Pure Michigan campaign if we use my plan for road funding. That includes no increased taxes, only cuts. Tim Greimel was here. He says that formula simply is nonsense. It's hanky-panky. It won't work. I know that you think that the taxes need to be raised in order to fund the roads.
Well, again, I believe there needs to be some tax increase as part of a solution. But we should also be trying to tighten our belt and always be more efficient in government. And we've done a great job over the last 4 years. I'm very proud of the budgeting we've done. I'm proud to be the token CPA governor in the country. We could use more CPAs running states in our nation. But let's look at a solution. I appreciate the House coming out with their plan. The Senate hopefully is coming out with a plan June to sometime this summer. I've had a plan out for several years. Let's talk through the summertime and let's get a solution done in the fall.
Just for the casual listener, if you could summarize your plan in 20 seconds,
sure.
What would it be?
Well, it's a combination of user fees, gas tax and registration fees, along with some belt tightening. And you do that in combination. That way you can do a thoughtful approach that's sustainable for the long term. I like long-term solutions. I don't like Band-Aids.
That registration fee makes people wince, though, right? I mean, it was to
some degree. But again, that's part of the balancing act, that you don't overdo that. But again, you have this issue about what's going on with gas consumption, different issues, electric vehicles. So in some ways, the registration fee can be more consistent.
Well, so far we've made it through the interview without anybody protesting or interrupting or anything like that. What happened during your opening address yesterday?
Well, it's just part of democracy. I viewed it as I've been around long enough where I've had a lot of things happen to me when I'm giving a talk.
Have you?
And some people spoke up. They spoke up about the pipeline that go under the straits here.
Yeah.
And that's an issue we take seriously. And in fact, I've had a task force going for a number of months, and they have a report due out towards the end of June. Dan Wyatt, our director of the DEQ, is talking about that will be out to talk about recommendations on how to make sure we keep the Great Lakes as safe as possible, because it's one of the most wonderful, most critically important assets in the world.
The protesters who got up shouting, they want the pipeline shut down until it's properly inspected, or what are they looking for?
Well, I couldn't actually hear all the details.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I appreciate the issue. I addressed the issue in the group because I wanted people to understand the issue. That wasn't the best way to do it, in my view. I mean, it's better to sit down and talk about issues rather than just scream them out and walk out.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was keen of you, though, for what it's worth, to say, hey, what they're saying is important.
Yeah.
I just don't like the way they said it.
Right, and I want to recognize that because, again, I work for the citizens of Michigan. You hired me to do a job, and I want to make sure that I'm communicating important issues in a thoughtful way and trying to come up with the best solutions. That's relentless positive action. I don't like fighting and blaming don't solve anything. It's like, how do we solve problems and move us ahead, and look at the progress.
Mayor Mike Duggan, speaking of progress, is the MERS News quote of the day today. They asked how he's getting along with you, and he says, a lot better now that Kevin Orr's gone. What does he mean by that?
Well, again, Kevin Orr did an awesome job, and I think most people would recognize that. It is a critically important role, but I viewed it as a temporary role.
That was a dirty job.
That was a difficult job in many respects. But it's great to have the mayor and the city council running the city of Detroit. That was always my issue, but now we've got it in a situation where there's financial stability. There's actually some financial progress going on. And it's great to see the comeback of Detroit in terms of Midtown, downtown. We need to really emphasize having our neighborhoods come back in Detroit, and then looking at the whole issue of poverty throughout Michigan, particularly in some of our rural areas.
Well, we're on the air in Muskegon, one of the places where you shouldn't get gas in the middle of the night. They're saying that in Detroit now, too, the police chief. There's still some very dangerous crime problems.
Yeah, but we've seen big improvements. Again,
Yeah.
this is, when I took office, we had 4 of the top 10 cities on the most violent list, and we've put a concerted effort to improve the criminal justice system in those communities, and crime's down on average about 20% in those communities over the last 4 years. Now, let's keep that up.
Were you surprised to see Mayor Duggan say he is not running for governor and doesn't want to be asked about it anymore? I thought about how the 8 million times you were asked if you're running for president.
Yeah, I've been to that movie. So I appreciate the fact he was getting asked. It's nice that you gave an answer, and hopefully people can move on and let him get back to being mayor of Detroit.
Yeah, that's a big job anyway, huh?
It is, and it's an important role, and we have a good working relationship.
Who are you looking forward to talking to today?
Well, the exciting part today is I'm doing lots of media interviews, but I've got my talk this afternoon.
Keynote.
So I'm doing a keynote speak about some of the long-term issues of Michigan. So I'm going to talk about things that I think we need to focus on, not just in my term, but we need that cohesion point that's one
Long-term.
of the pillars here,
Yeah.
about how we can work together on topics.
We'll give you full coverage of it. Thank you,
Great.
Mr. Governor.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Rick
Great privilege.
Snyder.